I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start a flame in your heart. In my heart I have but one desire, and that one is you. No other will do. I've lost all ambition for worldly acclaim. I just want to be the one you love. And with your admission that you feel the same, I'll have reached the goal I'm dreaming of. Believe.
Good evening, everybody. How you doing tonight? My name is Metal Mike, your favorite metalhead. I'm joined here, as always, with the Alpha Wolf himself, Sean. As always, we throw our ones up for the Alpha Wolf. I am also here with the man with the beard that you should fear, Cam. As always, yeah, I had to do something for you. I had to. Because, like, I got my thing and Sean got his thing, and you just added something I didn't see. But
I'm just the bearded wonder. That's fine.
Bearded wonder, the man with the beard that you should fear. We'll get it right. Another, We are also here joined tonight with the bearded bastard himself, Shadow. Gentlemen, how are y'all doing?
Doing all right, man.
I kind of wish I was Cam's mic right now. He's real close to it. I love it.
What's up, everybody in the chat? I'm tired. I don't know why. I was trying my hardest not to fall asleep during Monday Night Raw.
Oh, I mean,
it was kind of boring to me, to be honest.
Understandable.
I agree with Sean.
Well, I'm guessing you guys just want to get right into it. This is the go-home show for Monday Night Raw to the Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble is on Saturday. Before we get into it, guys, I just have to throw out real quick for everybody to head over to Rivet City Radio and Off the Top Media's Twitch and YouTube channels. Hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button, turn your notifications on. Check out all the great content going on all over the network. We have a couple shows coming up this week. Nerdy News at 4:20 is going to be on Tuesday. Later on that night, NXT on tap. And then on Wednesday night, it is the Boom with Cam, myself, and Phil. Right after AEW Dynamite. Also, make sure to head over.
And this Thursday, Mike, predictions.
Yeah, we have the prediction show for the Royal Rumble this Thursday night. That's coming up. Also, make sure to head over to patreon.com/Rivet City Radio. Check out all the great content going on over there. Well, guys, let's get into it. Let's get into Monday Night Raw. It seems like we just got to rip the Band-Aid off and do it and get into it here. That's pretty much it. So we kick the night off. First off, this was episode 1,600. 1,600 shows of Monday Night Raw. They were in New Orleans, Louisiana tonight. And we kicked the show off with Seth Rollins. Now, Shadow, you texted me immediately after this promo happened and said, "Can I please come on the table spot tonight? I need to talk about this. I want to talk about this." So,
see, we're gonna do what WWE won't do, and that's rip the Band-Aid off. Seth Rollins is predicted to be out 4 to 6 months, or 3 to 4, whatever months, right?
Yeah.
Why aren't we relinquishing the title? Anybody else, that title's relinquished.
So what we got from the promo was he opened the show. He talked about his injury. He has a grade 2 MCL and a meniscus tear. There's a possibility of surgery and a possibility he's going to be out 3 to 4 months. But that's worst case scenario. Now, best case scenario is he rehabs for a little bit, gets himself to a point where he can be attending WrestleMania.
Right. But
So-
you're building Damian as this big heel who's carrying this fucking briefcase around.
Yeah.
Why not have him come out? And if Seth felt comfortable enough, take a little bit of a bump, beat him up bad enough, making mega heat on beating up a crippled champion to steal the title.
Probably because they're not certain on what's going to happen with him yet. So why take the championship off of him if they don't know if he's really going to be out for 3 to 4 months?
Either way, he's out for 30 days. I don't know when WWE got rid of this rule. I hate it with Roman too, that you don't defend your title. You need to defend your title once every 30 days, at least.
Okay.
Right now we're heading into arguably the best pay-per-view aside from WrestleMania this Saturday, or as Gunther said, this Sunday.
Yeah.
And
thank you, Michael Cole, for the 6th time saying Saturday, by the way.
Right. It pisses me off because we know Roman works a part-time schedule as it is.
Yeah.
I understand Seth is hurt, but we're gonna have a fucking Royal Rumble where no champion is really in the picture at the moment.
Well, I mean, Roman's defending the Universal Championship in a fatal 4-way. So that's one title that's on the line. I think the match card so far is the 2 Rumble matches, the fatal 4-way for the Universal Championship. And there was another match that was announced tonight. I'll be honest, I forgot to write that match down, but I don't think it's a championship match. But
I don't think it's kayfabe. I guess what's got me heated on it though, Mike, is the fact that anybody else on the roster comes out tonight and says, I did what Seth did, that title's being relinquished.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get what you're saying, especially with getting away from the whole 30-day, if he's going to be out for 30 days, not competing. And by the way, the other match is the United States title match, Logan Paul defending against Kevin Owens. But I get what you're saying with the whole 30 days. If he's going to be out and, if it's only rehab and we'll see him just come out, come back for WrestleMania. But that's not, Roman got away from it, not defending every 30 days. There's a couple championships in not even just WWE, but in the world of pro wrestling where it hasn't been defended within 30 days. So it seems like it's just gotten away of a hole. You know what I mean?
That's fair. I just didn't know he's the living piss out of me that WWE went the way they went with it.
I get it. Because that's the thing is they have so many good things around it right now. Damian Priest has been doing great with the Money in the Bank briefcase. His stock has really risen. Cody and Punk we'll get into that a little later, but everything heating up with them two, and even just the Judgment Day of a Fool. The Judgment Day is just one of the top, in my eyes, one of the top factions right now in not even just WWE, but in pro wrestling of a whole.
That's fair.
What's up, Courtney? How you doing? Thank you for joining us tonight. Mikey P, thank you for joining us tonight. Peter Round, thank you for joining us tonight. Al, thank you for joining us. Tommy, thank you for coming in tonight. Everybody that's coming in the chat, we appreciate you coming in. I know it's late for some people, not late for some people. We appreciate y'all being here. Let's get it over to Sean and Cam. Cam, you first. Your thoughts on this Seth Rollins ordeal?
It's I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the end goal here is. I understand the severity of it. Obviously, it sucks for Rollins to get hurt this close to WrestleMania. I just don't think. I think they should have just. So did he relinquish the championship or did he not relinquish?
No, he didn't relinquish. Yeah.
Nope.
So I feel like that's a mistake. I feel like he should have just relinquished the championship because they could easily just have some tournament or something like that and crown a new champion in his place and start building towards WrestleMania and the Royal Rumble and things like that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to feel. Honestly, you gotta have a certain level of respect for him, I guess, wanting to just stick with it and try to get healthy as soon as possible. But I mean, it's not like it's something we haven't seen before from Seth Rollins. I mean, he went into the match with Triple H, and he had another knee injury, and he went into that WrestleMania match with hurt. He went into it with a knee brace on, and still had an incredible match. One of my favorite WrestleMania matches from Seth Rollins, still to this day. So it's not like it's unheard of for him to go into another WrestleMania hurt, but for this being his one real shot at having a WrestleMania main event, he needs to be as healthy as possible. I just think it's the wrong move for them not to have him relinquish the championship.
I mean, I understand. This is the thing: is I understand the focus. Some of these superstars, they want to be the main event of WrestleMania. I mean, we have 2 nights now, and WrestleMania the past few years. Yeah, I mean, there's been good matches. There have been not good matches. I don't want to say the word bad because matches at WrestleMania,
they're all main events.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost a all main event thing. I mean, I've had people agree with me. I've had people disagree with me. I said it. If you take away Cody and Roman and the tag match from night number 1, Charlotte and Rhea was the best match at last year's Mania. People have disagreed with me on that, and people have agreed with me on that.
That's my second match of the year right there, following Ospreay and Omega. So,
and as always, I respect everybody's opinion. I'm not going to argue with anybody about it because that's how they feel. I don't want to take that away from them. It's part of being a fan. Sorry, Shadow, you had something to say.
I want to touch on what Cam said there. He said a tournament or something.
Yeah.
This weekend is a prime example. We have the Rumble. It's only been done twice in the history of the Rumble where the belt is on the line.
92 and 2016.
You could have done that. Oh, I'm sorry, Sean.
No, I was agreeing with you. I was actually thinking that. I was
like, that's a way to put Gunther as a double champion right there.
Yeah. That's a way to do it. I just think it was a mistake not having him relinquish the championship. So,
well, I mean, the other thing is we have another pay-per-view coming up, PLE, whatever you want to freaking call them nowadays. Chambers coming up. So if he would have relinquished the title, they could have put it on the line. If not in the Rumble, they could have put it on the line in the Chamber.
Right.
They could have took 6 guys that are, at the level of being going for the world title. I mean, they could have thrown the whole Judgment Day in there. Damian Priest, Dom, and Balor, and then 3 other people in the Chamber.
Here's an idea. What they could have did was, if not have the championship defended in the actual Rumble itself, or whatever. What they could have did as well is, and I don't know, maybe this is a bad idea. I don't know. It's just something that just popped in my head. But they could have had the person that wins the Royal Rumble be, obviously be the number 1 contender, but then he would get to pick his entry in the Chamber. So he gets to pick whether he wants to be first or last, blah blah blah. So he would have like the advantage going into. So he would be the number 1 contender for the championship, but he would also be like the first initial qualifier for the Chamber as well.
I get what you're saying. So he can choose what spot he comes in the Chamber, but he's still, no matter what, win or lose the Chamber match, main event WrestleMania.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking that, but yeah, you could do that too.
Was I at least close on that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if he wins the Chamber match, he main events WrestleMania anyway. So
right.
But if he loses, he still won the Rumble. He's still main event at WrestleMania.
Right.
And if you go that route of having it at the Chamber, the final 6 in the Rumble could be the 6 men in the Chamber.
You could do that too.
I like that idea. I'm 50-50 on that. I'm 50-50 on that because it would seem like then, the Rumble match would be competitive up until you get to the last 6. Then it seems like it wouldn't matter who wins. You know what I mean?
Or it's the final 7. The winner still does his main event thing, and the last 2 through 7 get the Chamber spot.
That's a little better. I like that a lot better. Sean, we didn't get your thoughts on this whole Seth Rollins with the world title thing. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think he said it relinquished it. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. It was so unclear what the fuck they're doing with the title.
Yeah.
To me, I'm still confused. Is he like we didn't get a clear answer. So
he has a grade 2 MCL, tear, sprain, break, whatever you want to call it, and then a meniscus tear. And there's 3, and I heard an interview earlier this week. A doctor was on a show that I listened to, and came on and explained this. So I'm going to try to explain this the best of my ability of remembering this. He pretty much explained that if it was a grade 1 MCL with a meniscus, he can do rehab, be out for 30 to 40 days, maybe 60 at max, rehab, be back and ready for Mania. If it's grade 2, then which he's at right now, it's going to be like a further evaluation, make sure they do all the proper steps to see if surgery is needed or not. If it's grade 3, then it's a definite surgery, out for about 6 months, and relinquish the title. He's in grade 2 right now, to where they're still in the determination factor of does he need surgery or not, and if he does, it'd be 3 to 4 months because of it being a grade 2. If it was a grade 3, you'd be looking at 8 months. So I think that's why they didn't relinquish the belt yet. But I think if he gets a further answer this week, then maybe next week on Raw, we could end up seeing him relinquish the belt pending or cash in. I mean, would you really let me ask you guys this honest opinion, because I've had somebody actually say to me that they would be happy if Seth relinquished, Damian came out and just handed his briefcase over, didn't have to do anything, and had the belt handed to him. Would you guys be happy with that?
I don't think I'd be happy with it.
Okay,
but
one at a time. One at a time.
I'll let Sean go. It's your guys' show. I'm just here.
Sean, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying I wouldn't be happy with it because it'd be like Becky Lynch getting pregnant and just handing it to Asuka. You know what I mean? Like,
that's different though. Asuka won Money in the Bank. Asuka won Money in the Bank, and the reward was not only did she win Money in the Bank, but instead of having to go through the cycle of cashing it in, she won the championship because of Becky. That's a little different.
Yeah, but I want to see a cash in. I don't want this easy here's the title because I'm hurt.
And now you're probably wondering how it's a little different, because here's the thing is they did that the next night. It's not like Asuka was holding on to the briefcase for months like Priest has been, and then out of nowhere Seth is hurt and he just hands in the briefcase. This was literally a like, we didn't know the belt was in that briefcase when Asuka won until the next night. So it's slightly different, in my opinion. Shadow, your thoughts. Would you feel comfortable if Priest just handed over the briefcase, got the belt handed to him?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Reason being, it brings another element to that Money in the Bank briefcase that we haven't seen before. It's something new.
Okay.
Where he just comes in, holds his briefcase and says, "Give me my belt," gives the briefcase, walks out. It's a new element. It kind of rejuvenates. Obviously, it's a very circumstantial thing. It probably won't happen again.
Yeah.
But it rejuvenates that Money in the Bank briefcase again. It gives it a fresh, after last year's Theory thing and this year's Senior Money in the Bank that's seeming nowhere right now. Why not add that?
I mean, it would be different because it's never been done before. I mean, because we've seen the surprise cash-ins, memorable ones like when Edge cashed in on Cena after the Chamber at New Year's Resolution or Revolution. I forget.
Resolution.
Yeah, Resolution. And then we've had, Seth Rollins' heist of the century at Mania 31, and RVD did the thing of, I'm cashing in my Money in the Bank on you, and we're going to battle at One Night Stand for the championship against Cena. So we've seen those elements. This would be a different element. I see your point on that. It'd be a different element of doing it. Cam, your thoughts on this? Would you feel comfortable if we get Seth Rollins next week, come to the middle of the ring, say, guys, it's determined. I got to get surgery. I'm going to be out for a few months. I got to relinquish the belt. Would you be okay with Priest coming down, handing over the briefcase and saying, I'm the champion, and just gets the belt handed to him?
No, because obviously I feel like that's just a new level of laziness in terms of creative. Hopefully they come up with something else uh, other than that, because to me that's just lazy. And they've built up something, the whole senior Money in the Bank thing. They had something going, giving him a custom briefcase, anything like that. So they had something going, and as Shadow said, it's seemingly going nowhere now. But people are still invested in, is he going to cash in? When is he going to cash in? Is it going to be a failed cash in? But to have it happen like that is a major letdown. So, and again, you just said too, to your point about the memorable moments, you talked about all the past Money in the Bank briefcase holders that have had memorable cash ins. So if they want to make this memorable and salvage what's left of this, this him holding the briefcase going nowhere right now, then it's got to be memorable. He's got to do something with it that's going to make us go like, oh man, that's a moment we're going to remember this 5-10 years down the line or whatever. So absolutely not. I think that just would be a letdown.
We did get in the chat. Will said absolutely not. It would be such a lazy way to award a man his first title. Go ahead, Shadow.
So Cam said you want a memorable moment, right? Obviously, this is just.
Well, he was saying I was mentioning the memorable.
No.
So.
I know, but like, we all keep focusing on Damian and Seth. We're all forgetting that Roman's going against 3 other men this weekend, which is arguably his hardest test to date.
Yeah.
Not that this is going to happen because I don't think WWE would do this, but you already have dissension within the Judgment Day, as we've seen tonight, between Rhea and Damian. What way to turn Damian the biggest face in the company right now than to cash in this weekend on Roman and successfully beat him? It's not going to happen because WWE's not going to do it. And we're not stupid enough to believe it's going to happen. But just in the element of a different universe, the multiverse, if you will, because Cam's a nerd, that could be something that happens. We're all focused on Damian going against Seth. Nobody's looking at, well, Damian could easily do it against Roman.
He could.
Especially after this weekend.
Yeah.
Or LA Knight could get the win this weekend, and boom, Priest cashes in. Or Randy, or, like, there could be, it's not going to happen. But my mind is going that way.
See, there has only been one time in history that I remember where the championship did get just handed to somebody, and that was back in, I want to make sure I get this year right. I believe it was 2000. It was either 7, 8, or 9. I can't remember the actual year, but Randy Orton got the belt handed to him because Cena got it. Was 2007. Yeah, it was 2007 going into 2008. Orton got the belt handed to him at the beginning of a pay-per-view. He defended it, lost it to Triple H. Triple H defended against Umaga, won that, and then they had the main event, Triple H, Randy Orton, and Orton won the belt back.
It's also the same instance where Rey Mysterio won at the beginning of the night, and then Cena cashed in on him later that night.
Yeah, well, because Rey won that tournament.
Yeah.
And that was at the time when CM Punk left Money in the Bank with the WWE Championship when he beat Cena.
Right.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, I'll say this. I honestly wouldn't like the fact of the title just getting handed to him if he came out and just handed his briefcase in. I wouldn't, because just like Cam said, you'd want that memorable moment. And with it being Priest's first world championship, like, I'd want him to win it in a more unique / memorable way. And especially with after how much he's built himself up in the past year. I mean, you go back to the beginning of Judgment Day, and this group was not helping him at all. He was like the outcast of the Judgment Day. It was not helping. And all of a sudden, right after that match with Bad Bunny is when things picked up for him.
Right.
Last year. And ever since then, he's just rose to the top. That he's pretty much got almost the same effect. I can't say same effect, but almost like equal effect that we're seeing with Swerve over in AEW right now. They're both getting that rise to the top. And it's really, really freaking cool to see. Because you're not seeing your main eventers always being highlighted now. You're getting the guys that people would sit back and consider, mid-carders. You know what I mean? So we'll move forward. We had Gunther. Actually, Gunther did come out during Seth Rollins' segment. They had some words to each other. Some of the stuff that he said to Seth, one thing I found I focused on was he said to Seth, that Seth was pretty much pulling on his heartstrings with the injury. But he also said to Seth that, and I want to get my notes right here. Says to Seth he's going to take the world title. Seth said that he's going to take the world title in and out of WrestleMania. So Seth is pretty much claiming he's going to Mania. He's keeping the belt afterwards. And Gunther said to Seth to make sure that you're focusing on me. So, I mean, these guys had some pretty heavy words to each other.
The one thing that annoys me about Seth saying, "Well, I'm going into Mania," is it kind of almost sets up that we already know is already coming, which is Seth and Punk. Which, if that's the case, where Seth's declaring this, we could potentially be looking at CM Punk winning the Rumble this Saturday.
I hope that doesn't happen. And I'm a CM Punk guy. I don't
want it to happen either. But if that's the way this is going, that's what it feels like is going to happen. Is we're going to see CM Punk win this week.
Yeah. I mean, they're definitely keeping us up in the loop between him and Cody. They are, and especially, again, we'll get into that segment in a little bit here, but with that segment that happened, it was like, who's going to win this match? Who's going to win the Rumble? I mean, and there's a lot of other guys in this match that are a toss-up and could be favored to win, like a Bobby Lashley, a Damian Priest.
Hey, don't count out Ricochet.
Can't count out Ricochet.
Why you bald?
His twins up there. That's Ricochet Senior right there.
But one thing I do want to talk about real quick, guys, 591 days, going into 592 days, Gunther's the Intercontinental Champion. That's insane. That's insane.
Is it though?
Well, I mean, yeah.
We're looking at, in the grand scheme of WWE landscape right now, we're looking at a champion that's going on 1,300 days as champion.
Yeah. As a world champion.
That 500 doesn't seem like much now.
But as the Intercontinental Champion, yeah.
I mean, it's impressive.
It is. Very much.
And I want to say one thing before. I'm not trying to take over your guys' show. I just got a lot of shit to say about wrestling right now. Gunther argues that he wants to bring prestige back, and he's this man of prestige and this and that, right? Why haven't we seen the white IC belt back yet?
That's not coming back.
Yeah, I don't think that one's ever coming back.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get it. He pretty much do what Cody did when Cody was the Intercontinental Champion a few years ago. He had the Intercontinental title. He brought back the white strapped championship, to bring back that, homage to the old days. Yeah. Like the
Pat Patterson title.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it. But I don't think we're ever going to see that. I mean, I could see them taking the new plate designs and throwing it on, like doing a mixture of like the white strap with the new plate designs.
I'd
maybe.
puke.
No thanks.
I'd puke. Not gonna lie, I'd puke.
Thanks.
I mean, they've done worse things, like had a red strapped Universal World Championship.
Hey,
No,
I'll
they've
have
done
that.
worse by having pink trios titles, but that's another company though.
Or
I'm sorry.
or Green 24/7 Championship.
Yeah,
That looked like Sean's dinner plate.
But no, I mean, I think it's pretty impressive for being Intercontinental Champion. I mean, he's doing really good things for that belt. That's why I say, like, I really don't want to see him around the world title right now. I don't, because he's doing great things for the Intercontinental title, and I want to see him, like, he's already built up. Don't get me wrong, he is built up. He could be ready to go to be world champion. But in my eyes as a fan and what I feel, is I feel like there's like this little something that's missing to put him in the world title situation.
Is it hair?
No, I don't know what it is.
It could be hair because both champions have really long hair.
I need time to think about it. Yeah, But yeah, I mean, I personally just don't want to see him in the world title picture right now. Him and Seth's back and forth was cool. Don't get me wrong. I was entertained by it.
It's another level of something.
Yeah. Like there's a certain level that I would like to see him get to really put him around the world title. And that's something that I have to figure out on my own as a fan, just to figure out what that is. But we had Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston came out and attacked Imperium at the end of this promo. It led us into the New Day taking on Imperium in a tag match. This match ended in a double countout / no contest, and they ended up brawling onto the outside into the crowd, and the New Day ended up tackling both the guys from Imperium through tables off of I guess it was one of the roadie stacks. And guys, even though this was no contest, count out, we'll start with you, Cam. Your thoughts on this match?
Well, I think once again, I think Triple H is just showing. Well, for one, he's showing that he's trying to highlight the tag team division, and I gotta give him and the creative division or creative team some credit because they are taking a tag team feud, a tag team storyline that doesn't have to involve the tag team titles or any championships of that nature. I think this day and age, especially, we as fans, we as the viewers, we get really caught up off of always wanting to see storylines that involve championships because obviously the championships mean importance and those are the main main scene, and we pay attention to those storylines more so than storylines that don't have championships involved in them.
Mm-hmm.
So for this tag team feud is obviously like a mid card or undercard kind of feud, but they're still highlighting it in a way that it still has some kind of importance to it.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the fact that obviously the fans were into it, so it was a great match. The table spot on the outside of the ring I thought was crazy. So it's great to see that once again they're highlighting tag team wrestling and bringing it back from the dead for WWE because, like I said, the old regime, Vince McMahon regime, obviously at one point I think he cared for tag team wrestling, and then somewhere along the lines he just kind of gave up on it. So it's great to see that tag team wrestling is back. Now, in saying that, I would say they have been feuding for a while. The New Day and Imperium have been feuding for a while. It's great to see Imperium not just look like, Gunther's lackeys, essentially. I feel like they should have been tag team champions a while ago. Like that, they would have been my choice for being tag team champions. I think they're a great tag team. New Day, it's great for them because, they're staying busy doing something. But my only gripe, I think, with the whole storyline or feud is the fact that it's I don't know how much more you can really do with where they're going. Obviously, they're probably due for another match, some gimmick match, false count anywhere, whatever, parking lot brawl, whatever. And that's great and everything, but
parking lots.
and that's great and everything, but it's like what is left to really do in that, and where is it really leading both tag teams is my only gripe. But other than that, I thought this was a good match.
Sean, your thoughts? New Day against Imperium.
Interesting. And my theory is Royal Rumble, we might see a surprise return to Big E because he's on the bump with the New Day coming up. And Imperium they're down 3-2, so they need somebody to kind of fill that void. And we never know. Big E's all trying to throw people off, like, oh, I don't know. Oh, well, I want to unstill this and that. And he returns at the Royal Rumble. Then we get the full New Day back.
I mean, Big E has mentioned that he is healthy. He's at 100% health wise with his injury. I mean, the injury that he sustained that's a rough injury. I mean, it was his C1, I think it was, or C2. That's a very, very close vertebrae to the top of your spine, literally right up here, close to the brain.
It's
That's rough.
psychologically, it fucks you up.
Yeah, and I'll say this for somebody that I experienced. I mean, mine was L5, L4, R. Mine was L5, L4, and R R4 in my spine. That's down towards the tail, and even that sucks. It's terrible. I can only imagine a C1 or C2, and could we possibilities of seeing him come back at the Rumble? Maybe, but it's going to be determined on how he feels mentally. Because physically, he's good. Mentally, it's going to be up to him. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see if Biggie does make his comeback. Shadow, your thoughts on this tag match?
Just touch on what Sean said there first. The Big E thing. The only thing that scares me is I have watched the IWC tear apart Saraya. I have watched him tear apart Daniel Bryan. I have watched him tear apart Edge.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see that happen to Big E.
No.
If he comes back because he feels that way, all the fans are going to shit on him some way or another because, oh, he's just one bump away from ending up like Draws. No, we don't need it. I like the idea, but I feel like the IWC is going to attack him and it's not worth it. Secondly, you asked me about the tag match. Neither Cam nor Sean said this, and I don't know if you even have this in your head, but can we just appreciate the fact that New Day paid homage to the NWO Wolfpack tonight?
Yeah.
Like, that was sick. I love the New Day in the serious role that they like when they get going seriously, like the feuds with the Usos back in the day, where they were serious. Great work. I still feel like we need to see an Xavier Woods run a singles competitor where he's actually running somewhere. But I love when Kofi and him are super serious, and this feud with the Imperium is the perfect blend because you have the guys that are, honor, pride, blah 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 blah, versus the guys that are laughs or jokesters, all fucking around. But when we need to be serious, they're super serious. So this feud to me is amazing. Tonight's match of a double count out, whatever, it's perfect because it just prolongs this story. Like there's so much more to be told, and I think there's so many elements that we can still see out of it.
Yeah, and I agree with you to an extent. I mean, if we were to get a Big E back, then you literally got 3-on-3 right there. You could do 6-man tags. You have regular tags. You have singles matches. Hell, we've seen the Kofi Kingston promo in the back after the match. Kofi challenged Gunther to the Intercontinental Championship next week on Raw.
Yeah,
so, and like he said, yeah, we're out there slinging pancakes and all this stuff, yada, yada, yada. But we know how to get down. We know how to throw down when we have to throw down. That's true. That's true. I'll say this: when the New Day first came, introduced themselves as the New Day, and they weren't doing the funny gimmick, they were trying to be like the serious, like at the start. I was liking that, but they caught a lot of slack for it. So then they switched it to we're going to do the comedic thing, but what we can do is we could take the comedic thing. We can be heels if we need to be heels. We could be baby faces if we need to be baby faces. It doesn't matter. We can do it both ways, which is good. They kind of brought that element of the seriousness when they are heels.
Another serious run that New Day had is against the Wyatt family.
Yeah.
They got that. That was super serious shit. Like,
well, let's move forward. We've seen a little bit of a promo in the backstage with the Judgment Day. They're going to be defending their tag titles next week against DIY. So 2 championship matches are set for next week on Monday Night Raw. The Intercontinental Championship, Kofi Kingston challenging Gunther, and DIY challenging Finn Balor and Damian Priest for the tag team championships. I'll say this: Damian Priest, he seemed a little pissed off tonight. Like, anywhere you've seen and heard this man, he was just pissed. R-Truth coming up to him during promos, trying to give him money and telling truth. Like, this is the one thing I kind of want to say this. I love R-Truth. I do. And he is a funny dude, and I enjoy what he does. But I wish we can get a serious R-Truth back, like a true heel thing, because I'll say this. Sometimes I sit and think, like, this man is a fucking 30-year veteran. And sometimes in storyline, he doesn't get treated like so. And it kind of bothers me because I love R-Truth. Like, he's awesome. He is. He's an awesome dude. And he's very talented. And I think the reason why I kind of feel that way is because I've seen the stuff he did in TNA when he won the NWA World Championship. I think that's what kind of throws me to the loop. You know what I mean? So, but Cam, you were pointing about the R-Truth thing about being the serious heel. What were your thoughts?
Well, I had said, I had come up with this wacky idea last week about, if he were to adopt like this, you know, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde kind of thing, where it was just like 1 minute he's the R-Truth we know and love, and then the next minute he's just like super serious and like, borderline like a maniac almost, completely different, super serious. But I agree with you on that. I've been saying that for a while with, getting a more serious R-Truth. I just miss, I miss Ron the Truth Killings, because that's what I grew up with. That's what I remember watching in the old TNA days. That's what I remember. I mean, yeah, he was still singing and rapping and dancing, things like that, but he was more serious, and he was taken more serious. So it's cool to, if that's what he wants to do, he wants to do the whole comedy bit thing. That's great for him and his career or whatever. But it's just, I kind of miss those days when he was taken a little more serious. They tried to do a heel thing with him in WWE, and it was going well, but the problem was they didn't commit to it, and that was the issue. And once that wasn't once it was obvious that they weren't behind it 100%, it
Yeah.
just kind of fell apart, and he reverted right back to being a comedy character. So I feel like now, once again, got to give creative team credit, because I think what they're doing with him now is they're putting him in a top storyline segment each week with, the Judgment Day and things like that. He may play a part in the separation or eventual split of the Judgment Day. Now, where he goes from there, I'm not sure, but I feel like wherever they're going with R-Truth is going to make, hopefully, is going to make some more sense once we do get to that point of Judgment Day splitting. So we might get a serious R-Truth out of this. Who knows? Maybe he is just underhandedly playing at some sort of game, some sort of scheme. Who knows? I'm not sure yet, but
So he could be the Judgment Day Sami Zayn.
pretty much.
That was my exact
much.
thought there. That the Judgment Day is bloodline with Sami Zayn as R-Truth here.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
Just a couple things to cover real quick. We had a promo in the back. Maxine and Ivy had a promo, and then it kicked into the Ivy Nile facing Valhalla match. Pretty quick match that happened. We covered the New Day promo in the back where Kofi challenged Gunther for the title next week. We get into the 9 o'clock hour, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sorry, Sean, I wanted to fix myself on that because I know you're 3 hours behind. So 9 o'clock p.m., 6 o'clock your time. Nia Jax had a promo in the ring. Came out, talked about the time she faced Rhea and Becky. She squashed both of them. We had Becky come out, tell Nia to pretty much, she said, shut up, dope. I kind of pop when Becky says the word dope, because it's a word you don't hear anymore. You really don't. I don't know. But told Nia that nobody likes her. Bayley came out. Bayley called both them idiots. She said that they're both going to lose and that Bayley's going to win the Rumble. She attacked Becky then, and then the brawl broke out. Bayley got manhandled slam, and That was the end of the promo, guys. Any thoughts? We'll start with Sean on this one. Any thoughts on this promo, Nia Jax, Becky, and Bayley?
I think it's pretty obvious that Bailey's going to win the Royal Rumble. That's what I'm thinking.
Ooh.
That's my prediction. But it was all right. It wasn't like the best promo, but I don't know what she would.
Okay, Shadow, your thoughts on this promo?
With all due respect to creative, as much as Cam's praising them tonight, whoever wrote the women's segments tonight, that shit fell flatter than Stephanie McMahon's tits in the 90s. Like, it was bad. Like, I'm sorry. Like, all around the women's segments tonight were not good. It fell flat.
I mean, it's good. It was good that they got TV time though.
100%. It's good to see them and all, but it wasn't a strong segments across the matches or even. We also, in that one match, the women's match, you had Nikki Cross randomly walk across the stage. Like, shit's just not making sense.
What's up, Raphael?
Another thing that doesn't make sense, I understand it's the Rumble, but Bayley showing up for no reason and just getting squashed made no sense to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and we see this every year when it's Rumble times. You know, everybody come out and like claiming, "Well, I'm going to win the Rumble. I'm going to be the one to go and WrestleMania." It's a thing. We see. I
get the purpose of it. It just didn't make sense in the storyline filling tonight. It just.
I get it, because the story mainly focused around Becky, Nia, and Rhea, and Bayley just pretty much inserted herself.
Right.
Or got
I'd like to insert myself in Bayley, but that's beside the point.
God. Cam, your thoughts on this promo?
Yes. Thoughts on me inserting myself in Bayley, sir?
I don't have any thoughts on that, sir. Are we talking about the segment? The women's segment?
Yeah, the whole segment of the whole Becky Bayley, the whole segment that happened. Yeah.
So it was an awkward segment just because, man, I like Bayley, I do, but her on the mic is just I think it's getting worse. it's getting so much worse. Like, and again, this kind of goes back to what I was saying. It's probably last week when I was saying like I really don't like the dialogue in WWE. Like who's writing this stuff? It's the way they talk, and it's like no one really talks like that. And sometimes I just feel like they talk like
Sims
walking, talking like billboards. I'm gonna point to the WrestleMania sign and I'm gonna throw you over the top rope and It's like, we get it, but we don't need to really hear that every single year. Royal Rumble time, WrestleMania time. And it was so obvious. It was like so blatant when Bayley was talking, and it just came off really cookie cutter. So easy. And I'm not even the biggest fan of Becky, honestly, or Nia, but Becky easily carried this. You know, I think it was funny when she told Nia that, you know, oh yeah, there's a locker room full of women and you probably injured half of them. And I'm just like, yeah, she's probably right on that. She's probably right on that. So this was it was an awkward segment. We probably could have gone without. It was probably just a time waster, honestly, just a time filler. We could have went without seeing this on Raw.
Like to fill her.
Can we all agree on one thing? And I know this is probably a weird thing to bring up, but Becky's hair was fucking fire.
It was super red tonight.
It was super red.
She redyed it. She just did that. So she redyed it, and it's a brighter red now. No pun intended. It was fire. Liked it. I missed the days where I was able to dye my hair when I had my mohawk, because I used to dye my mohawk all the time. Yeah, miss them. But we'll move forward. We had Dom Mysterio taking on The Miz in a one-on-one match. Dom ultimately won with a frog splash. We've seen Judgment Day kind of get involved in this match throughout the match, ultimately helping Dom win this. And at the end, Judgment Day jumped on The Miz. DIY came out to help The Miz We've seen the little face down of the whole "we'll see you next week. We're gonna take those titles from you," and yada 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 stuff. The typical thing that you see. Any thoughts, guys, on the match between Dom Mysterio and The Miz? I'll say this real quick before I turn it over to Shadow. I'll let you go first. But before you go, I will say this. I'm a huge fan of The Miz. I've always been a fan of The Miz, whether he's a heel or he's a babyface. I like him more as a heel. I do. His babyface stuff is good, but he's a heel. That's that. But I've always liked The Miz, even in his since he started, back in the Tough Enough days. I was a fan of him. He was just hosting SmackDown, standing in the crowd doing little announcements. Like, I was a fan of The Miz. So when I see The Miz on my TV, I'm locked in because I know I'm going to get good products from him in my eyes. Shadow, your thoughts on this match?
I could give two shits about this match. I really could. I don't know. It's just it's in the words of Cam here. It's a cookie cutter match between The Miz and Dom. Nothing makes you go. It's just okay. The rest of it, cool. I think I went and took a shower during that match. And then you have DOA come out. I mean DIY. Dead on. I love DIY in NXT. I love Ciampa. I love Gargano. The main roster doesn't appreciate what DIY is and was, and it's very
I don't think
evident.
they know what they are.
But it's very evident that they don't know the DIY thing. That's why I call it DOA, because they were dead on arrival in the main roster. Coming out to save The Miz, I don't like that dynamic because you know that The Miz is going to be the same Miz that he's always been. He'll turn on everybody that helps him. Yada yada yada. Story plays itself there, right? We've already seen Ciampa work with Miz, and where'd that go? It led to Ciampa getting hurt and then out for 8 months.
No. We spoke about this last week about DIY, and I said it that DIY seems so natural. And Shadow, I want to get your thoughts on this real quick, whether you agree with this or disagree with this. But DIY seems such like a natural thing in NXT. But now that they're on the main roster, it seems like Ciampa's into it, but it seems like Johnny Gargano is kind of forcing it.
First off, you need a theme that brings that energy, and the theme isn't it.
Yeah.
Like 100%. You listen to any interview a wrestler has. Their theme music is what gets them going to go out there and do what they do. It's not there. I think you're not far off with that opinion on Gargano. Like, he doesn't seem very invested in the main roster. Like, he's not. Remember when he came back last summer, it was, I want to go for this title. I want to go for this title. There was no mention of DIY. And as much as we give Triple H credit, this is one of the things you can't give him credit for now because it's failing, and it's failing hard.
Well, also, you think about what Gargano said during his NXT, when he was in NXT. He said NXT is his home. Like, NXT is where he belongs. It's like if you have somebody who's highly invested in one of your products, whether it's SmackDown, Raw, or NXT, and they're standing there literally going on screen, cutting promos saying NXT is my home, this is where I thrive and where I need to be, then fucking keep them on that show.
Right.
Because that's where you'll get good stuff out of them.
Before I hand off my last comment here, DIY worked in NXT because of teams like Undisputed Era.
Yep.
AOP, when they were AOP. Sanity. Teams like that, because they all worked a certain style. Mm-hmm. The main roster has so many thrown together tag teams that there's no continuity for DIY to build a story with them. And if there is, the two teams that they should be feuding with are now busy feuding with each other, and that's the New Day and Imperium.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they can always try and tie something in. They can always try and do it. If they were to decide to put the tag belts on them next week, you can honestly insert New Day and Imperium into that mix. You can. We've seen it done before. Go back to, towards the back end of the Attitude Era when we got Edge, Christian, the Hardys, and the Dudleys. Your main feud was the Hardys, Edge, and Christian, and then in come the Dudleys from ECW. Insert the Dudleys, and there you go. We got some great stuff from those three teams. TLC matches, regular ladder matches, table matches. You know, we got everything from those teams. So, Sean, your thoughts?
I have no thoughts. It was just a thrown together match. Like it was just another cookie cutter match. Like I said, Raw wasn't great tonight, to be honest.
Okay, Cam.
I mean, I normally don't like anything The Miz is involved in. Usually, I'm not a big fan of The Miz. I'm pretty much the polar opposite of you, Mike. But I'll give him credit because he actually hit a springboard crossbody, which is way out of his realm. Because since he's normally like the safe, grounded wrestler that he's known to be. But other than that, I mean, this was a nothing match. Not much to really talk about here.
We had a Priest interview in the back. We seen, heard Priest's few words. Like I said, it just seemed like he just was a pissed off dude tonight. Seen R-Truth come in, tried to hand him money, the whole comedic bit with that, and told Truth, later, like not right now. I'm trying to focus. And pretty much said that Drew's going to receive his punishment in their match in the main event. We then got on to a match between Chad Gable and Ivar. Ivar ended up winning this match. But let's get to the 10 o'clock hour. And let's get to Cody and CM Punk's face-to-face. So some notes from this. Punk said a few things that I took on some notes, that he's not looking out for Cody. He's going to be looking for Cody in the Royal Rumble. He also said to Cody that he was more the American dream than him. And Cody shot back and said to him that the pipe bomb that Punk said back in 2012, 2013 inspired him. And but Cody said that everything that he spoke about in that promo, Cody did. And then Cody went on to say that he's more CM Punk than CM Punk. So this promo went from, pretty civil, back and forth, couple shots here and there. It got heated real quick. Shadow, you seem like you want to mention on this first. Go for it.
So I know Cam will know this. I don't know how much AEW you watched. I don't know exactly if Sean will know this. Cody, after the American Dream comment was made, Cody almost verbatim cut his last AEW promo in a WWE ring.
Yeah.
Almost verbatim, without mentioning every superstar that he went on a tangent about. And that made me pop because I was expecting it, but I wasn't, because WWE doesn't do shit like that. But WWE let Cody run with almost word for word what he said in his last AEW promo. And I loved it because it's true. He did everything that Punk said he was going to do, but never did. And oh man, I would have popped because we all seen on AEW this week where the Young Bucks fucking threw CM Punk under the bus. I would have popped if Cody would have said, at least the Young Bucks like me. But
I mean, did you get that feeling that for a moment you felt like a mention of AEW was going to be popped out? Like you thought you were going to hear the three letters AEW?
I really did. And then he said OVW. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. That kind of really threw me out. Like I was like, oh, they're mentioning OVW. And then you sit here thinking like, oh my God, are they going to mention AEW? Are they going to mention it? And we didn't get it ultimately. And we should have known in the back of our minds we weren't going to hear those three letters.
I think the only man that's ever said it on WWE TV is Sami Zayn.
Yeah. And that was way before, AEW was a full out existing thing. It was definitely after, the first All In. They did the All In pay-per-view and then Sami Zayn mentioned it, and then we got Double or Nothing a few months later. But it's still a point. Like Sami Zayn's the only one to mention those three letters on TV.
So I was waiting for AEW to come out of one of their mouths.
Yeah, definitely. Sean, your thoughts on this promo?
I definitely love when Cody said, "I'm more CM Punk than you," because it's just like, all right, like, I mean, are you gonna disrespect the American dream like that? You know, pretty much, or like Cody. So why not? I'm more CM Punk than you. I did it, way more professionally than you did. I did it more, I did it better than you did. So him going like pretty much taking a shot at CM Punk was fantastic.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. You look at it, Cody did everything that Punk mentioned in that promo, a little over 10 years ago. Punk mentioned all this stuff and Cody went out, after Punk left WWE, that was it. We haven't seen the man for 10 years. Well, a little under 10 years. It was what, 7, 8?
Something like that.
In the meantime, Cody was in WWE, won the Intercontinental Championship, won the tag team titles a couple times. He left. He went out on the Indies. He became, champion over in Japan. He became champion for, I guess, Global Force, TNA, Ring of Honor. Went to AEW, helped create AEW. Got that off the ground. First TNT champion over there. Like he accomplished a lot of stuff. He did pretty much everything. And he even did the one thing that CM Punk mentioned too. If you guys remember that promo, CM Punk mentioned one man in that promo. And that was oh my god.
Colt Cabana?
Colt Cabana. Mentioned Colt Cabana, saying give Colt Cabana a chance. What did Cody do?
Yeah, that didn't fare out for him. But anyways,
I'm just saying, give him a chance on national TV. He did the thing. He literally did the things that CM Punk wanted to do. So these were like spot on shots. Cam, I'm ready to hear your thoughts on this because I have a feeling you might have some deep thoughts on this one.
So I feel like it's corny for Cody to say what he said. Oh, I'm more CM Punk than you, blah blah. I mean, yeah, cool. You did everything that CM Punk had talked about doing. Fair. But I feel like he probably would have never done that had he just been wasted like he was when they slapped the Stardust gimmick on him. So realistically, I mean, WWE I think kind of forced him. They kind of forced his hand to become more CM Punk than CM Punk. But I mean, I understand it. But like I said, CM Punk, CM Punk, he's lethal on the mic. I feel like, and anything that's thrown his way, he can easily just come back with it. I'm not shocked they didn't mention AEW here. It was implied, I guess, but
heavily.
implied heavily, but I'm not surprised it wasn't mentioned. It's kind of like the unwritten rule not to mention them, while AEW can just blab on about WWE or whatever. But I liked the fact that Punk basically came back at him and was just like, well, hey, like I said, you always talk about finishing the story or whatever, and I've talked about how that's become well overdone. Finish the story. They say it like especially now that we're in WrestleMania season, they say it like literally every week. They've been saying it for the last like year since he fought Roman last year.
It's their biggest catchphrase right now.
Right.
It's also the game's catchphrase.
It's the biggest catchphrase. And I just like the fact that Punk fired back at him, was like, well, hey, there was a bigger star than you that came back, and that's going to finish your story for you, and that's just me. So that's all Punk really needed to say. And it really bothers me about the whole him being more Punk than Punk, because it's like, I get it. I get all the accolades and stuff like that, but you can't really be Punk, because Punk was and still is the outspoken like rebel, whereas Cody he tried to be the nice guy and like, oh, I'm gonna wait my turn, but they're gonna slap this Stardust gimmick on me. Now I have to go rattle the cages like Triple H told me to do, which again forced his hand to become what supposedly CM Punk was supposed to be or whatever. So that's, I mean, if y'all remember the if y'all remember the Arn Anderson gimmick, the Arn Anderson promo in AEW, what he said about Cody is kind of true. Like Cody's the nice guy. He doesn't strike me as the rebel that's gonna be like outspoken and he's gonna start shitting on people and throwing them under the bus and da da da. No, but Punk is that guy that's gonna be like, okay, if I don't like something, I'm literally going to be out here and I'm going to say it. I'm going to put it in a form of a pipe bomb.
Yeah.
And that might not give me a lot of friends. That may have a lot of people at IWC not like me, blah blah blah. But I don't care because I'm literally going to speak my truth. And if you don't like it, tough.
I'll say this. And go ahead, Shadow. Go ahead, Shadow. Sorry.
No, go. I'm listening.
I'll say this. We've had CM Punk since Survivor Series come in. And I'm going to admit it as a fan, I think he's doing great work, if not his greatest work since coming back to wrestling. Like he did good work in AEW. Yeah, there was obviously we know about all the stuff that's happened there, all that stuff. But right now, I feel
Allegedly.
well, I mean, but like promo wise, like his promos just seem a little more sensible and on point.
I think to that point, I have a couple points I want to make before we move on in the subject matter that you have.
Yeah.
One, to your point though, I think WWE is playing it super safe right now with Punk and not letting him fully off a leash per se, because they need to see how he handles the newer regime of WWE now that he's back, and they want to see if he can be a team player or if he's Punk being Punk. If that makes sense.
And that's what I mean is I think right now, like we're a little under 2 months with him being back.
They're safe playing it.
It just feels like he's actually like on board with things. Like it seems like he's comfortable. He seems a little happy. Yeah, we haven't had any on TV in ring from him yet.
Well, there's not enough real glass around to complain yet. So
I'll say this: Saturday is going to be the first test.
My next point that Cam said, how Cody is like the way Cody is. Cody is the embodiment of a pastor's son. He wants to be that anti-hero, rebellious kid, but he plays it safe and does things his way, but not the rebel way.
Yeah.
And then the other point I brought up, what I wanted to bring up that Cam also touched on, is CM Punk saying there's a star that's been away for a long time that's coming back to take your spot since you're CM Punk. That was The Rock to CM Punk the year CM Punk was on the cover of WWE 13.
Yeah.
And now Cody is the cover of 24, and we have a star that's coming back to take his spot. That was a nice little rush there for the game Pop 2, which is now available for pre-order.
And we are going to have in our news story segment, we do have the reveals of all three covers we will be revealing here tonight on the table spot in a little bit. To move forward, we had a match with Candice LeRae, Indy Hartwell taking on Zoe Starks and Shayna Baszler. This match pretty quick match. You know, the ending, it was literally like a 4-minute match. It was short. You know, Shayna had Candice LeRae in a chokehold. And then Zoe Stark came in. She hit her finisher, got the pinfall, got the win. Very quick match. Drew McIntyre had a promo in the back and pretty much got the question, like, what do you think about the CM Punk and Cody Rhodes promo? And he said, I have no words for Punk and Cody. You know, I'm going to prove everything, you know, this Saturday at the Royal Rumble. And, you know, the whole mentions of his title reign, saying that, you know, it wasn't a very important title reign, but yet it was because he did it during like one of the worst times in history because the world was shut down and he had to be the top dog of entertaining and all this stuff, you know. And then we got into the main event between Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. I will say this, I enjoyed this match. I thought it was a pretty good back and forth match. R-Truth came down, distracted Damian Priest with the whole money thing again, and ultimately helped Drew McIntyre hit the Claymore and win this match. Thoughts on this one, Shadow? You're ready to go on.
I just want to. I'm done after this because I got to go anyways. One more thing, and again, it's another point Cam brought up, and I'm agreeing with Cam on some things tonight, which is new. I really hope, because it does play into this segment too.
Yeah.
I really wish they would push Truth back to the heel.
Yeah.
Because Truth Capital Punishment 2012 was scary.
Yes.
And if you can bring that element, WWE's element to our Truth, but have him do what he did as Ron Killings,
yeah,
it'd be cinema. Especially as a deception within the Judgment Day, it'd be great. This match for me is just two meaty men slapping meat. You know, I thought it was good. I was really hoping Judgment Day would drag Seth Rollins out for Damian just to cash in, because of, again, with the non-relinquishing earlier in the night.
Yep.
That would have been a perfect story there. Just Judgment Day beat him up, dragged him out. But I digress. I don't know where WWE is going with Drew McIntyre right now. I'm really confused. Because one week he's this. Ever since Riddle was his tag team partner, they don't seem to have a direction for him. And it's really hard to say, especially in a contract year for him.
It's like 1 week he's a heel, 1 week he's a babyface. Like, you don't know what he is.
It's Big Show 2.0, and I don't like it.
That's a good way to put it. Honestly, that is a good way to put it.
Like, I don't get it. Like, he's very much a main event player.
Yep.
But, like, you need to figure it out. If you're not going to keep him relevant in the title picture, you need to have him relevant against Logan Paul or Gunther. There needs to be something of relevancy there. Because he's going to get to that point, he's not going to want to stay. And then Finn Balor, because he was in the segment, his contract's coming up, and he's made it well known that he wants to work with the Elite again. Whether it's there, here, it doesn't matter. You got to push these guys in very serious positions, or we could end up seeing them go to the other side.
Yeah.
Or to TNA.
I mean, right now, you look at the landscape of wrestling of its own. I mean, you got WWE, TNA, AEW, MLW. Like, you got, NWA.
There's options.
There's so many options. Even GCW, New Japan. There's so many options. So it's right, like back even 3 years ago, 2 years ago, you could say either AEW or WWE. Now you can throw in an MLW, a TNA, an NWA, a GCW. Like, you can throw those into that mix. Because for example, somebody like Matt Riddle. I know a lot of people, people aren't fans of him. Some people are fans of him, but Matt Riddle, thinking, oh, maybe AEW, maybe TNA. Nope, he's an MLW.
Yeah.
And he was somewhat of a not a big time, but he was up there in WWE. He was tagging with Orton, tag team champions, So he was up there in the spotlight.
I just want to say before I go, thank you guys for having me on. It's been a blast talking about the shittiness of Monday Night Raw tonight. But yeah, if you want to follow me, I'm that guy Shadow91 on Twitter. Peace.
All right, brother. Thank you. Have
All
a
right,
good night. All right. So, real quick, guys, Sean, your thoughts on this main event?
Our Truth stuff was funny. That's about it.
Okay. Cam?
So we got dangerously close to Damian pretty much just getting fed up with our Truth and just full on like choke slamming him to an announcer's table. So once again, that brings me back to my point before when I said about our Truth and how this plays into the Judgment Day split and everything like that. So again, I don't really feel like they are, or maybe they are, I don't know, but I just get that feeling that they're not heavily injecting our Truth into this storyline with the Judgment Day and not have it go somewhere at the end, have some ultimate ending where it's like, oh, okay, this is something different, or oh, okay, this is a shakeup or a shock. So hopefully, again, my hope is that we get a serious R-Truth out of this whole Judgment Day thing. But other than that, I mean, this was a decent match. It's highlighting two bigger guys in the main event, so that's very rare. You don't really see that a whole lot. But yeah, other than that, it was an okay match. A lot of interferences in general in the 3 hours of Monday Night Raw, which is kind of annoying in a sense. But it all plays into the bigger picture of a lot of these storylines, so it makes sense in the long run. But this
You know,
was an okay match, though.
a lot of the interference thing was Judgment Day. I mean, they got
Yeah.
involved in the Dom Mysterio
Yep.
Miz match. You know, they were involved a lot tonight. I mean, we've had many Monday Night Raws where it was Judgment Day heavy. You know, this was another Judgment Day heavy Monday Night Raw. I mean, they are the group. They are the main focus on Monday Night Raw as a group.
Yep.
That's pretty much. You go back 2 years ago, even a year ago, before Mania, the Bloodline was the focus on SmackDown. You know, now it's Judgment Day is the main focus on Monday Night Raw. You know, and we got that new group over on SmackDown. I will say this. I kind of feel like, and what I'm hearing from this, because I work on a Friday, sometimes I get home on time to be able to, get to watch SmackDown. Sometimes I don't. Lately, it's been I'm working late to the point where I don't necessarily get home to catch SmackDown, and I forget to call home and say, "Hey, can somebody record this for me?" Then I miss SmackDown. So I haven't fully gotten into this new group yet. But what I'm hearing of them is it almost sounds like, and this is no, slate on any of the people involved in this group, but it almost seems like a lighter version of the Judgment Day right now. On what
I'm
I'm
assuming you're referring to the Final Testament.
The Final Testament, yes. Yeah.
I like them honestly because, like I said, I'm a Karrion Kross dude, and I've liked Karrion Kross since I didn't like Karrion Kross his original run in WWE when he had the baldy cut or whatever, and he was in NXT. I didn't really like him. I just didn't see what the big deal was. But then him coming back when he feuded with Drew, and I liked him.
Yeah.
But he's had a few feuds since being back that just went nowhere, and he hasn't come out looking stronger or weaker or anything. He's just kind of been floundering on the main roster since coming back. But this group now, I'm like, okay, now I'm seeing it, and it's perfect for him. So,
I mean, like I said, what I'm hearing is like it seems like another version of the Judgment Day. That's what I'm hearing. I'm not judging them on that, because I haven't witnessed them yet. I haven't introduced myself to them yet, so I'm not going to, give an authentic judgment on them. But I'll say this: I liked the Karrion Kross in NXT when he came up to the main roster and had that random match with Jeff Hardy and lost. I was like, you fucking hurt him before he even got there. Bottom line, I feel like you hurt him before he even got there. So,
what's funny too is when the Judgment Day was first formed, they were comparing that to like the Ministry of Darkness.
yes.
So it's so funny that now you got another new group that's dark or whatever. Now they're like Judgment Day light. So it's natural, I guess. People always compare it to what the last dark group was.
Well, guys, we're going to get into our second hour segment stuff, our news stories that I've come across throughout on the internet throughout the past week since our last show here on the Table Spot last Monday. Some stuff I pulled off the internet. And like I always say, you can't always believe what you see on the internet and all that stuff. But these are some sources that I've been following for a few years now, and they've been pretty reliable sources of news for the world of professional wrestling. So I pull it off of their stuff. Real quick, Shadow said, "Fuck, I forgot to mention from the stupid ass Hulk Hogan tease."
I have a new pick to win the Royal Rumble. It's going to be Hulk Hogan, brother.
Oh my god!
But he says, stupid ass Hulk Hogan tease, get the fuck out of here. And BDSM cross. Yeah, the BDSM and cross that we got up on the main roster when he first came up. But we're going to get into our news stories that I came across here. Our first one is the WWE 2K, and I want to switch this here. Our WWE 2K24 cover art was revealed, and gentlemen, and I'm going to pull it up right now. We have the cover art not only for the pretty much basic edition, we got the deluxe edition and the I guess you'd call it like the ultimate edition, but this is the cover art for all three. The Cody one is the basic, the deluxe is with Bianca and Rhea on it, and then the 40 years of WrestleMania version is with all the legends on it and some of the current stars like Roman Reigns, Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch. Gentlemen, this was announced earlier this morning. Sean, your thoughts on this? I mean, what do you think of this? The cover arts.
I woke up at 5 a.m. in the morning randomly, and I saw this news, and then I immediately pre-ordered the 40 Years of WrestleMania edition. I saw the features. I can't wait to screw people over as a special guest referee. Just throwing that out there now. Like, if I really feel like fucking with you, I'm gonna screw you over as a special guest referee. I can't wait for that. I can't wait.
Okay. Cam, your thoughts on the cover art and what you're expecting from this game?
I doubt I'm buying this game, but I'm not really a fan of 2K series. But I think these are three clean cover arts. Obviously, the Cody one is a no-brainer. The WrestleMania one is pretty sick. That honestly looks like the old school like WrestleMania logos they have, like the first like the early WrestleMania logos. So that's pretty dope as well. And of course, it's pretty dope to see some of the ladies get some shine too. So that logo is pretty cool too.
Got some comments real quick in the chat. If anyone says Bray should have been on the cover, STFU. Wait, Sean, you ordered it, and Sean ain't referring any of my matches or reffing any of my matches. Cam, I agree with you. Cam, I agree with you. I love the WrestleMania one. I'm very, very happy with the Bianca Rhea one because it's very rare that I think we've only ever had one woman as a cover art, and I think that was Becky Lynch a few years ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
But
and ironically, that was the worst one. That was the worst game.
Yeah, all the glitches and stuff.
Yeah.
But some of the new match types that are going to be in it: special guest referee, ambulance match, casket match, and gauntlet match. I will say this: when I seen the trailer for this game, I was excited that they showed the casket match, and I was like, yes, we are getting a casket match. I am excited because I've been wanting them. Years ago when we had like the SmackDown, I don't know, it wasn't even it was SmackDown versus Raw. We had the Buried Alive matches. Loved doing them. Loved them.
See, you get Buried Alive, you get Casket, and they're adding something that's not really ever been in the games before, unless you have like the Nintendo DS. Ambulance match.
Oh, I'm excited for that one.
That's pretty sick.
There's one match type that I wish they would bring back, and I don't believe it was in the game from last year. It's been a while since I played the new game or the last game because it's been a while, so I kind of forget the match type. But the scramble match.
Oh yeah, the championship scramble. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my god, I love the championship scramble matches.
Yeah, that was pretty sick.
I highly agree. So, Mikey P says I'm sending
Mikey P.
the ambulance. I like that they added superstar trading.
I hope they add that GM mode. I hope somehow they add it to be online so you can play with friends online, like. Because last year you couldn't do online, but
that honestly would be sick.
But also, what I like is that you can create a referee now, and you can create a crowd sign. So fucking signs and community creations, rap's gonna be fucking wild. Like,
So if I remember, you in past games you were able to create crowd signs. That
yeah,
was
I mean they're bringing it back, but oh my god, Shadow. Anyway, um, but with this game, I just want what I really want is create a story back where you can create storylines like actual like upload it to the community creators. Oh, this is my show I created.
so in so I'm kind of a kid when it comes to the game. I don't use the any of the modes to build storylines or anything like that. I do it all through um the exhibition mode. I build my own storylines. I even have a notebook of keeping my championship history, my events, everything. Like I'm a kid when I play the game. It's almost like I went from I traded in playing with the action figures and now I'm using the video game. So when I have pay-per-views or PLEs, whatever you want to call them nowadays, I create my own arenas for certain ones. I get super creative. I will spend literally 2 or 3 hours creating an arena to make sure everything is perfect. And that way it's because me and my one buddy used to use a video app to share our storylines on. So I wanted to make sure that my arena was presentable and I made sure that everything was perfect in presentation. Like I was very, very, yeah, I was super into doing it. And we haven't traded off storylines in such a long time. It's been a long time since we've done it. That's why it's been a while since I've played the game. But the one storyline that I had going on right now is last time I played, guys, nobody is my world champion right now. So I carried to kind of tell you guys this really quick. AJ Styles was my last champion before last year's game. He went into the last year's game going in as my world champion. And in storyline, well, not in storyline, but in match, a move happened. And it was kind of a glitch that happened in the game, but it almost looked like AJ broke his ankle. So I went with it. AJ broke his ankle. Title got relinquished and nobody was the champion. I did a tournament. The finals came down to Seth Rollins and Shawn Michaels. The match ended up where Roman Reigns came in and he came back because Roman was my champ. Like I kind of played off the whole real life thing where Roman was my champion for a long time. And yeah, where I left off was I'm going into Survivor Series right now, and the match, my main event is Cody, Seth, and Shawn taking on Roman and the Usos. And I was gonna have I was gonna have Solo Sikoa and AJ Styles come back and be in that main event, and it would turn into War Games.
It's sick.
Yeah. And then Royal Rumble, I was gonna have Shawn Michaels win the Royal Rumble and Seth Rollins win the Elimination Chamber, and I was gonna have them main event my WrestleMania.
That's dope.
So the original title match from the tournament that I held would be turning into the main event at WrestleMania for the championship, and it was going to be a literal 1 hour Iron Man match. Yeah, but we stopped playing the game, stopped trading off our storylines, and I haven't done anything since. So that is the WWE 2K24 cover art reveal. I'm excited for this. I am. You know, I got to kind of think about like, hey, since we're not trading off storylines anymore, I'm just going to have to do it myself. So we did have a comment. Oh, speaking of creating, they now have a quick save option as you are working on it so you don't lose it. So that's pretty cool. So I'm guessing that's pretty much like once you do something, if you wait for like 30 seconds, it saves it. And then if you want to go back to that spot because you have to go do something, you can go back to that spot and not lose it. That's pretty cool. So I have and I got to create this here. Hold on. So I have a video that I want to play for you guys. Okay. This came across my social media this week. And I was very impressed on this. So, as I type in a thing here, I'm sorry, I'm kind of unprepared on this. I'm always prepared, Cam. Always. Wasn't prepared tonight for this. So I have a video, and it's deemed Ric Flair is beast mode. Okay? So we're going to check out this little 15-second clip of Ric Flair. You ready for this?
Oh god.
Why?
Oh, why? This is why. Check this out.
Whoa!
Man is a beast. Yeah. I got Cam speechless on this.
I don't know what to say to that.
I got Cam speechless on this.
That man's like what, 80-something years old doing that?
70. I think he's 78.
That's close enough.
Cam, your thoughts, man? You seem speechless on this. You guys are sitting here thinking, why? Yeah.
World's strongest man, Ric Flair, I guess. Incoming. Hey, as long as he stays out of a wrestling ring, I'm all for it. Just stay out of a wrestling ring. I don't care what you do.
Give me Ric Flair versus Mark Henry right now.
Oh god.
Oh my God.
Weightlifting competition. I mean, like.
Okay, I thought you said a match. I was like, whoa.
I mean, just guys. I mean, look at. I mean, real quick. I mean, you got to look at how many plates does he have on. We're gonna look at that one more time. Okay, not fully through, but I just want to get the plate count on this. So I'm getting about 5 or 6 plates on each side. And those are 45s. And then you take the bar, which weighs 25. So let's do the math. Okay.
45 if it's an Olympic, but
Well, those plates I think are traditionally 45. So we'll do 45. Let's say he had 5 plates on each side. Okay. So, and then plus the 25 of the bar or 45 of the bar. So 45 times 10 plus 45 of the bar. That's 495 pounds. He almost deadlifted 500 pounds. That's
wild.
insane. Insane. Shadow says Jinder Mahal has appeared on WWE in 2024 more than The Rock, Roman Reigns, John Cena combined. That's true. But Sean, you said why? Showed you why. Your thoughts on this?
I don't know. That man. I'm surprised he didn't go woo afterwards. You know, like that's amazing though. Like at 78, doing that.
Yeah. I mean, I see it as being impressive. It's impressive. I'm impressed. I was impressed when I seen it. I was. Because I probably wouldn't even been able to do that when I was playing football back in high school. Struggling. That man just lifted those like I'm fucking Ric Flair, man. But I went to play that video for you guys real quick. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna play this for these guys. I'm gonna surprise them a little bit with Ric Flair. We're gonna get into another.
To be the man, you have to outlift the man, I guess.
There you go. There you go. Is it? Be the man, you got to beat the man, you got to outlift the man. Woo!
Wow.
We're going to get on to our next subject, guys. And that is I want these to be scrolled through. Why did I not have this set up tonight? Jeez. AEW Rampage, shaky ratings. So, guys, as we know, AEW Rampage, since the start of Rampage, just been on the decline. I mean, some people are saying they should turn it into, Ring of Honor Rampage and get some Ring of Honor on TV so you don't have to go to, the internet and pay for it to see Ring of Honor. And some people are saying, just get Ring of Honor out of there. Guys, January 9th, the episode of Rampage, 390,000 viewers and a 0.12 rating. Okay. A week later, 396,000. So they gained 6,000 viewers on the 12th. And the 9th was the live viewership, and then they gained 6,000 more, I guess, on the recording, and the rating stayed the same at 0.12. But when Rampage first started, they were seeing views of around the 6s and 700,000s. So, Sean, I'm getting your thoughts on this one first. Do you want to see Rampage, change the dynamics of their show? Or do you think AEW should just scratch Rampage of a whole and stick with the two shows of Collision and Dynamite?
I think they should just scrap it. Scrap it or change it to where it's somewhat more entertaining. People want to watch Friday nights.
I mean, that's something that they've been kind of lack on, though. I mean, you go back to the beginning of Rampage, what was it? The first or second episode was the return of Punk. And obviously viewership was way up there because of that. And then a week or two later, it was just kind of like, nobody gave a shit. And Rampage did start off with having some decent matches. And it kind of quickly turned into, Dark or Dark Elevation. Just on TV this time instead of being on the internet. And they scratched Elevation and they scratched Dark. They kind of turned Rampage into that. You just don't have to watch it on YouTube. Cam, your thoughts? What are you thinking? Scratch Rampage or turn it into something else? Go with a different dynamic.
Well, the key word in what we're talking about here is shaky. They're not horrible. They could be worse ratings here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course, obviously they're way down from where they started, and that's mainly because of CM Punk. And again, that's their mistake of kind of centering that show around. Oh, that's a return of CM Punk. It's the same mistake they made with Collision. So, but I think their ratings are not, again, like completely abysmal. I think they're just pretty much just keeping their head above water right now. And it's right now that the ratings that they are getting, I think, are the average right now for Rampage. So, and I don't want to keep sounding like a broken record here, what by saying, oh yeah, scrap Rampage and turn it into Ring of Honor. That's obviously the no brainer. And like I said, Tony Khan tried to save Rampage by getting rid of Rampage when they had introduced Collision the first time, but the network decided not to. So they pretty much fought Tony on that, and they're the ones that decided to keep Rampage, and now they're paying for it essentially. The thing I would do for Rampage, if they decide to keep, Rampage the way it is, and I would say if they're going to stick with it, might as well stick with it. Stick to their guns. The thing I would say change about it is don't just have it be rinse and repeat the stuff that you carry over from Dynamite. Dynamite obviously is like their Monday Night Raw. That's their flagship show. That's the show they started with. That's the show that the company had their very first televised program with, right? They need to stop having these nothing undercard or lower feuds that they preview on Dynamite and go, we're going to have a match on Rampage. They need to stop doing that because that's obviously not working. And they literally only use that as a tool to be able to have viewers from that are watching Dynamite kind of lean more towards going over to Friday nights and watching Rampage. But it's obvious that that's not really working. Only a fraction, if that, are actually watching Rampage and tuning in for said matches that you preview on Dynamite.
Yeah.
So what I think they should do is stop having Dynamite wrestlers that you see every week or every other week on Rampage. They need to do what they were doing or what they started with Dark and Dark Elevation, and that's have some of these developmental talent and these jobbers even that they have under their contract. Again, they're new and up and coming stars that don't really have a name for themselves yet. Have them on Rampage. Make that the show for them. Revamp Rampage completely. Take all of your known talent off of Rampage completely and put new talent on that program. It'll take a while, I think, for fans to really catch on to what they're trying to do with Rampage if they were to go that route. Like I would say maybe have 1 or 2, 3, 4 even of your top stars on that program
Yeah.
to get, generate that interest, but make that for your next up and coming stars. That's what I would say do. Treat it as like almost an AEW developmental televised program.
Yeah. I mean, and again, that's almost like what they did on Dark and Dark Elevation is they took a lot of the stars that you didn't see on Dynamite and gave them that little bit of a spotlight. And they said, here's a show for you guys to go on and get some, not TV time, but you're going on the internet. You're getting camera time, ultimately camera time. And, we could kind of highlight you here. And if you get up to the part where we can use you on Dynamite and get you into a storyline that would see fit for Dynamite, now Collision as well. That's what they kind of took with Rampage. And it happened super quick. Like, it's not like it fell gradually. It was kind of like, AEW Rampage makes its debut. CM Punk's going to be there. And then, boom. It was like a slippery slope. You know what I mean? But a little bit on Rampage. It was announced in January of 2020 that AEW and Warner Media has extended their TV deal for Dynamite on TNT through 2023. And then they agreed on a new series that is now known as Rampage. Sources reported oh my gosh. Sources reported then how that extension was for 4 years and $175 million or just under $45 million per year. So, I mean, the TV deal includes not only Dynamite, but Rampage. $45 million a year for both shows. So they're invested. The investment's there, at least through 2024. So there could be a possibility we may not see Rampage at the end of 2024. I mean, I said it a few months ago, and I've been saying it pretty much every week, saying that I think they should turn Rampage into a Ring of Honor show. I mean, Ring of Honor's under the AEW umbrella, so they can always call it like AEW Rampage of, Rampage Ring of Honor, or Ring of Rampage Honor or something. Like include the word Rampage in there, but include Ring of Honor in there as well. You know what I mean? Kind of play with the words a little bit and try and make it fit.
Ring of
way
Honor
they-
Friday Night Rampage.
Yeah. There you go. Simple as that. ROH Friday Night Rampage.
And then just have their honor club just have that be for pay-per-views.
That great idea. I like it. I'd take it. And that way we could see Ring of Honor stuff. They don't have to throw Ring of Honor stuff on Dynamite or Collision. Save it for Friday night. And then you could focus on other stuff for Dynamite. Because face it, we see stars that are in Ring of Honor on Dynamite, and they're included into storylines with that. I mean, look at the Bullet Club Gold right now. We got them teaming up with freaking the Acclaimed.
Bang bang, scissor gang.
That's AEW talent right there, teaming up with Ring of Honor champions. A few months ago, we had Jay White challenging for the world title. 2 weeks later, he's in a match that didn't even surround the world title. It was just like he was wiped out of the picture.
I would love for them to build a studio the size of like NWA Power
They have one.
and literally just film Ring of Honor from there.
They have one. They on the closing times of AEW Dark and Dark Elevation, they
that's right,
actually
they do.
did have a studio for Dark and Dark Elevation. They did.
Yeah.
So whether they own that studio right now or not, but that's not a bad idea. Bring in, 1,500, 2,000 people. Do it in there. It's not a bad idea.
Because we keep talking about them needing to go to smaller venues anyway. So,
well, Scout. So I was watching Raw with Will and Scows earlier tonight, and Scows actually brought up the fact that Dynamite this week is scheduled to have only about 25, I believe he said 2,500 people in the arena, and they only sold like 1,500 tickets or a little under that. So part of the arena is blocked off, like half the arena is blocked off. Like if you go on the map, and he brought up the map too when we seen it, that it's in red, which means that part's blocked off. And the other side that the hard camera's not on, that the camera, basically the side that the camera's facing, is the side that's going to be filled with people. And then that side and part of the arena up in the corner opposite of the entrance ramp is blocked off. And then the other half all the way over is where people are going to be sitting. So it's almost like they're going to take their hard camera and do this and say, we're sold out here in, Georgia. But the one thing I hate is people are going to be in that arena taking pictures and fucking putting them on blast. It's the one thing that's going to piss me off. Because AEW does not have bad product. Yeah, they've hit some speed bumps like any other wrestling company does, or any company does in a whole. They're hitting their speed bump right now. I think 2024 is going to be a pretty good, strong year for AEW. I think it is.
Yeah, let's just hope they don't make any bad decisions.
Hopefully
that
not.
could, dig them in their hole even further.
But before we move on to our next subjects, speaking of AEW Dynamite, I'm going to let you guys know to head over to Rivet City Radio's Twitch and Off the Top Media's Twitch and YouTube channels. Hit the follow button, subscribe, turn your notifications on, check out all the great content going on. We got tomorrow at 4:20, we got Nerdy News, special day and time. Later on that night, we got NXT on tap right after NXT. We also got The Boom on Wednesday nights. Myself, Cam, Phil, right after AEW Dynamite, 10:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we react to what happened on AEW Dynamite. And then on Thursday, we are going to have a special Royal Rumble prediction show that's going to be held out with different hosts from all across Rivet City Radio and Off the Top Media. So come join us for that. Coming Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I believe the time is. So, again, make sure you head over to Rivet City Radio and Off the Top Media's Twitch and YouTube channels. Hit the follow button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and when the prediction show goes live, you can come catch it live. And if you want to check out recordings, check out the recordings on the YouTube channels. They're there from past shows. And also to head over to the Patreon, patreon.com/Rivet City Radio. Check out the great content going on the Patreon. Head over there, subscribe. Do it. Gentlemen, we're going to move on to our next segment here. And that is Tenille Dashwood. This is titled Tenille Dashing to Her Next Stop. Now, Tenille Dashwood back in. Yeah, I know. I come up with some really fucking stupid titles for these things because I'm not trying to use the source that I get this news from. I'm not trying to use their same titles. So I try and come up with stupid, funny titles to kind of get you guys to laugh. And it works, I think, sometimes, I hope. But I know half the time it doesn't because you're like, Mike, it's fucking stupid title. But, Tennille Dashwood was released from WWE on her second run there in September 2023. Since then, we haven't seen her. We don't know what she's doing, you know, but she is thinking about heading to her next location, whether that's TNA, AEW, MLW, GCW, the Indies. So, Cam, Tennille Dashwood, where would you ultimately like to see her end up?
Well,
Real quick. I'm sorry. Where would you like to see her end up? But where do you think she's going to end up?
well, I'm assuming her and I'm assuming her and Moss are still together. I'm assuming. Um, Honestly, wherever she goes, I hope he goes too. Because I said it before when they were released that I think they could be like, the indies like power couple. And honestly, I could see her just roaming the indies, you know. Um a lot of people are gonna be probably wanting to go to either TNA, AEW, and I think it'd be kind of cool to just see somebody who's just out there just kind of roaming the indies or whatever. I mean, like I said, look at Matt Cardona, look what he's done, look what he's built, just kind of just roaming the indies, and not really being signed to any one particular company,
Yeah.
not really committing. So I think that'd be kind of cool. Where do I really see her going though? So where I want to see her go is just not anywhere in particular, just roaming the indies. Where do I see her going? Probably TNA. Um, I think it just makes sense. TNA obviously is just red hot right now. They're revamping their whole product, so probably TNA.
So real quick, and to answer your question, Michael Morales, best known as Riddick Moss, Tennille and Riddick revealed on August 4th of 2022 that they are dating. They announced on June 3rd of 2023 that they are engaged. So yes, they are still together. They are still together. So hey, I mean, they could become the next. Well, I mean, Matt Cardona's just doing some fucking amazing things on the Indies right now. I mean, everywhere you see that man, he's doing something great. So,
Right.
you know, I mean, and obviously, his wife is in WWE right now, so we couldn't see them ruling the Indies. But hey, they could become the next power couple. You never know; it could happen. Sean, your thoughts? Neil Dashwood, where do you see her ending up, and where would you like to see her end up, and where do you think she's going to end up?
I think I see her ending up back in TNA, and I think the best spot for her is TNA, especially with this new revamp.
Thank you, Michael.
Last time she was in Impact, I would say she did pretty well. And in TNA, she'll come back and even excel more.
Yeah, I mean, TNA would definitely be a good landing spot for her. Like you said, she really took off in TNA. She had a great career in TNA. I mean, I can ultimately see her ending up in TNA. I mean, I would like to see her in TNA. I think it would be the right time for her to go there. I mean, especially with the possibilities of a Trinity leaving and the possibilities of her coming back to WWE. I mean, exit Trinity and insert Tennille Dashwood. You know,
I just thought of this too. In the near future, I think it's not out of the question that she didn't get a call from Triple H to be a surprise entrance in the Women's Royal Rumble. I mean, it's very possible.
I mean, yeah, there's I believe, only 4 or 5 spots taken up right now for the Women's Rumble. We got Becky, Nia, Bailey, Becky, Nia, and Bailey. I think that's it. So 27 spots open yet for the Women's Rumble. Yeah. I believe Asuka's thrown in there as well. So, yeah, 26 openings. So, I mean, it's a possibility. We could see it. And with TNA and WWE both being under that Endeavor umbrella, I wouldn't be surprised to see some TNA stars in the Royal Rumble this year. I mean, I know that deal only really goes as far as, the TNA app, but it's still the fact is, even though that being that deal, it's still under the umbrella. It's still there. It exists. So I could see, somebody like a Jordan Grace coming out with the TNA Women's Championship going into the Rumble. A Moose going into the Men's Rumble with TNA
That'd be
World
wild.
Title. Yeah, right. Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin. It'd be insane. It'd be pretty cool to see. So our last news segment, our last news subjects, and I say subjects because this includes two people, and that is Finn Balor. Oh my gosh, I did it again. Jeebus. Finn Balor and Drew McIntyre, both, as it was mentioned earlier in the show tonight, both of their contracts are up after WrestleMania 40. Now, the thing is Finn Balor, obviously he's been under contract. Drew McIntyre has never signed a contract. So he's technically not under contract. So after WrestleMania 40, he is free to go do whatever he wants. Same with Finn Balor. His contract's up. He is free to do whatever he wants. So my question for you guys, and you can answer for both Finn Balor and Drew McIntyre, same as Tennille. Where do you think they're going to end up, and where would you like to see them end up? And Sean, we're going to go with you on this one first.
I see Drew leaving. I actually see him going to AEW, especially with Wembley coming up. As far as Finn, we all know he's going to resign. Finn's going to resign. He's going to stick with the Judgment Day. But yeah, I would like to see Drew leave and go to AEW. I think a fresh competition for him will be great. But I know I just don't see Finn leaving anywhere else.
Okay. Cam, Finn Balor, Drew McIntyre. Where do you see them going, and where would you like to see them go?
I mean, I'm kind of with Sean. I don't really see Finn Balor leaving. I think he'll end up re-signing. Even with the comments of him wanting to work with the Elite again. He's one of those guys. He's one of those kind of like those John Cena, Dolph Ziggler kind of guys where he just seems like a lifer to me for WWE. I just don't see he's been there for so long. It's hard to picture him leaving the company. So I definitely think he's going to sign or resign. Drew, however, has been kind of disgruntled for a while, which is why he hasn't resigned. And I think that kind of plays into why he's just kind of, we don't really know what he's supposed to be right now. Heel, face, tweener, whatever. I think that kind of plays into it. And realistically, I think he's just trying to stay afloat until, after Mania happens and then really make his ultimate, decision. But I honestly see him leaving just because he's probably wanting something new, something fresh. It's kind of clear that creative doesn't have much for him anymore. So AEW, I don't necessarily say him going to AEW. I don't really know if there's room for him. I kind of see him again just kind of roaming the indies. Now I do see him probably doing like a handshake deal with TK for All In because I'm sure he doesn't want to miss that show again.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see that because the pop for that's going to be crazy if he comes out and he's a surprise guest or whatever on that show. Yeah, that place is gonna go insane. So I see him being an indie guy.
So Finn Balor, we kind of seen tonight on Raw, Rhea Ripley kind of lose her shit a little bit with him. I think that was first indications of the possibilities of him being exited from the Judgment Day. I think step 2 is going to be him and Priest losing the tag belts on Monday night next week. And then stage 3, I think we're going to get to a point where we're going to see Priest and Balor going into a little feud going into Mania. And we get the ultimate Judgment Day match between Finn Balor and Damian Priest. I have that feeling. And this isn't building off the fact of what Finn Balor said, wanting to work with the Elite. But when you hear about a contract being up and you hear a guy saying, I have interest in doing this, and this guy is in his 40s, and you wouldn't think it. Like, Finn Balor's in his 40s. He doesn't look it. Like, the guy, like, drank some age water or something, and, I feel like I look older than Finn Balor. And I'm not. But ultimately, I can see Finn Balor going to AEW to work with the likes of a Samoa Joe, an Adam Cole, even a Jay White. Like, just imagine those matchups. Now, I don't know if those matchups have... I mean, I know Samoa Joe, Finn Balor has happened before. We've seen it over in Tokyo back in the day in WWE when they were in NXT. We've seen Adam Cole, Finn Balor back during the COVID times for the NXT title. When Finn Balor took that small stint back to NXT before he came back and did the Judgment Day thing. But I don't know if we ever seen a Jay White Finn Balor match. Hell, MJF and Finn Balor. Hook and Finn Balor. I mean, the matchups are endless. You don't even have to have Finn Balor around the AEW World title. You can have him around the International title, the TNT title, the tag titles. Like, we don't need to see him like any other guy that came in, like a Bryan Danielson and a John Moxley and a Chris Jericho. We've seen them go for the world title right away. We don't need to see that with Finn Balor. Finn Balor is the guy where you don't need to see that happen because he's been so far away from the world title in WWE where we're not used to seeing him in that range. So it sets up perfectly for him to go into AEW and he wouldn't get lost in the sauce. As far as Drew McIntyre, TNA. And there's one matchup I would love to see. Drew McIntyre versus Moose. Or Drew McIntyre versus Steve Macklin. Two big, meaty guys slapping meat. All you'd hear all through the match. That's what you'd hear. I think we would get two big dudes kicking each other's ass. Now, as far as the handshake deal with TK for All In, I could see it. And I have a match. And I want to see what your guys' reaction is. Drew McIntyre comes in about a month before All In and starts building a story with one Will Ospreay.
Oh boy, that would be a match because that you gotta think about it like the clash of styles with Will Ospreay and Drew McIntyre. That would be something. I'm not even gonna lie. That'd be crazy. That's perfect. That's perfect for All In. Perfect.
Just imagine the crowd for that match.
Oh my gosh. You think Rock Hogan back in the day crowd was insane. It's gonna be nothing compared to that.
If TNA would do a Richter scale type of situation testing for that match with the crowd, I bet they would reach Hogan Rock level with that.
dude, that would be wild. Oh, and so I kind of change. Here's like an alternate path for Finn as well. If he were to leave, which again, like I said, I don't see happening, but if he were to leave, I could see him going back to New Japan. That would be crazy, and I'm tell you why. I could see him going back to New Japan to then feud with David Finlay
Okay.
because he wants to take back control of the Bullet Club. I could see that. That would just make sense.
I think that would be definitely a good matchup. Definitely. There was a video that I wanted to play real quick. I did have one more match for Drew McIntyre and AEW for All In. But speaking of Dynamite, son of a bitch, I had it up on my computer too, and I got rid of it. And I shouldn't have, guys. I don't know why I seem so unprepared tonight. I just feel like I'm so unprepared. But okay, I'm gonna just wing it here, and I believe this was the announcement. Adam Copeland's taking on Okada this week.
No.
Not Okada. What the fuck? He announced it earlier this week.
You can get it.
I know I can get
It'll
it.
come to you.
I know I can get it. I'm just gonna Google it. I
Don't
am.
cheat. Don't cheat.
Just say it. Just say it because I'm drawing a blank right now. I'm fucking
Minoru Suzuki.
Suzuki. Yeah. Why am I thinking Okada? I don't know why. Suzuki. That's gonna be a great match. I'm excited for that match. I am. But one more for Drew McIntyre. Okay. Drew McIntyre against Kenny Omega.
Oh, boy.
If we can't get McIntyre against Ospreay, then we need to get McIntyre against fucking Omega. Like, again, Richter scale testing for the crowd noise type of match. Just think of the roar, the back and forth that would happen for that match.
When you said that, like I'm picturing a V trigger counter into a Claymore, which would be sick nasty.
Or Kenny hits the V trigger while Drew hits the Claymore. They both
At
go
the
for it
same
at the
time.
And then just the crowd noise for the build-up for them to just get back up after getting knocked down from doing it. Like, dude, we would feel the rumble here in the States.
Wild.
Oh, man. Oh, man. We could talk about this forever tonight. We can. Because I'm fucking hyped. Like, I want to talk about it now. But sadly enough, we've come to the end of the show, gentlemen. And before we get into our social medias and everything, just want to remind people one more time to head over to Rivet City Radio and Off the Top Media's Twitch, YouTube channels. Hit the follow button, subscribe button, turn your notification on. Check out all the great content going on this week. Nerdy News at 4:20 tomorrow at 4:20, special day, same time. Later on that night, NXT on tap, and then on Wednesday night, NXT on tap after NXT. And then on Wednesday night, the Boom with Cam, myself, and Phil, right after AEW Dynamite, 10:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Me and Cam switch roles. He takes the seat I'm in here, and then I go into the seat that he's in here. You know, we switch the roles a little bit. You know, but we still have fun like we do here. So there's to it. Also, head over to patreon.com/Rivet City Radio. Check out all the great content going on over there. But gentlemen, your social medias. Sean, you're up first. Your social medias are on the screen here. Make sure to head over to Sean's social medias, hit the follow button, subscribe button, notifications, check out all the great content that Sean has going on over on his social medias. He does go live on TikTok almost every night. Sean's live. So head over to his lives, show some support, show some love. You know, check out his lives, go chat with him. You know, but with that being said, Sean, where can people find you on the networks?
Right here every Monday. Table spot.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
Right here every Monday night, 11:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Table Spot. Sometimes you show up on Sorry for the Interruption. Sometimes you go ahead and end up on Boss Spots Chair Shots. Sometimes you help. I've never seen you on Boss Bitch Trivia yet. That's one show I haven't seen you on. I'm not sure if you've ever been on that or not.
I've been on there once or twice.
Boss Bitch Trivia is fun. It's a fun
Yeah.
show. It is. And it's a fun show to watch. Even if you're just watching it, fun show to watch. You're also on Career Retro sometimes. Career Retro. So
Yes, I am.
Sean's here on a constant, but he's all over the network. That's why we tell you to follow and subscribe. So, Cam, all your socials are on the bottom here. Make sure to head over to Cam's social medias, hit the follow button, subscribe button. Check out all the great content, turn on the notifications, especially Cam's Wrestling Corner. And you're not stressing enough. Cam's Wrestling Corner videos are just fucking awesome. I can't get enough of them. Man, like, they're cool as shit. Sean's lives, entertaining. Cam's Wrestling Corner, entertaining. Like, gotta show my guys some love here. And that's that. If I can show them love, you guys can show them love. With that being said, Cam, where can everybody find you on the network here?
Well, you can find me here on every single Monday night following Monday Night Raw with the table spot with these two gentlemen on your screen. And of course, you can find me on Wednesday nights, every single Wednesday after AEW Dynamite with another edition of The Boom with me. And of course, Mike as my producer and color commentator. And of course, Phil Khan. And of course, that is every single Wednesday night after Dynamite. And of course, you can find me on our sister page on Off the Top Media every single Friday night following Friday Night SmackDown with another edition of Friday Night Review with Jamie, me, and of course, Scouts.
So, funny little story, real quick. I was listening and watching Friday Night Review this past week, and you guys got into the playoff talk for the NFL. And I so wanted to join the conversation because you guys got into some good shit that I really wanted to get involved in. But I kind of got sidetracked. My ADHD kicked in. I bought an extender for my computer screen to lift my computer screen off of my desk. That's why my angle's a little different now, because my computer screen is now off my desk. I have more room. It's more comfortable. But I got that on Sunday. Okay. It came Sunday. I ordered it online. Came Sunday. But on Friday night, I was trying to use an old TV wall mount to hang it up. And I was very fucking frustrated trying to do it. Like, I will say the frustration levels got to like 12. Like, there is a hole in my wall right now that I am not happy with. Because I tried to hammer in the rubber covers that cover the screws that go into the wall to screw the mount on. And I literally, no pun intended, screwed it up. And now I have this annoying fucking hole sitting on my wall in the back underneath my TV. I'm so glad my computer screen right now is covering it, because I would have been sitting here staring at that fucking hole all night. Like, you have no clue. And the frustration level of just trying to do it, like, I literally, when I hung up I literally had the brackets on the back of my computer screen, and when I went to hang it up, I was so lucky to be sitting underneath the screen because it literally fell off the wall and I caught the screen. I was like, oh shit, I almost didn't have a computer screen. I'm glad I was standing there. But then I ripped the bracket on the wall off and I threw it across my room. I was pissed. I was. Just the frustration. And I never get that frustrated anymore. Like, I've become a very mellow person over the years. Like, my mid-20s, like, early, like, before I turned 30, like, shit like that would set me off, you know? But ever since I got past, like, 33 years old, I started mellowing out a little bit and don't get as frustrated. And I've reached a level of frustration that night that just was not happy. And then I heard your guys' conversation. I was like, fuck, I want to be involved in this, but I'm getting frustrated with the shit at the same time. That's something you guys won't see me post on my social medias, on Instagram, X, TikTok, or Snapchat. But just to let y'all know, Metal Mike 714 is my social media handle all over social media. Please add me on Snapchat. I put stuff on there that you won't see on Instagram, X, or TikTok. It's an everyday in the life. Like, I just post random shit on there and people respond to it. It's kind of funny. People talk shit. It's kind of funny. So, yeah, add me on Snapchat if you want to see me, saying or doing some dumb shit just throughout the day. Even when I'm at work, post stuff while I'm at work because I complain. sometimes. Always. Never. But that's my social media handle. As far as being here on the networks, catch me here every Monday night, 11:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right after Monday Night Raw with these two gentlemen right here above me. On Wednesday nights, you can catch me on the boom with Cam and Phil right after AEW Dynamite, 10:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we talk about AEW Dynamite right after it happens. You're going to catch me on Saturday nights for the movie Madness with Prince at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, talking about all things movies, movie-related, TV show-related, actors, actresses, producers, all that stuff, fun in between. And then for the football talk, you can catch me on Rivet City Red Zone every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. with the Candyman himself, Johnny H., as we discuss everything football this week. We already have our show planned out. We got the news. We got the conference title games that are set up, ready to go. John's 49ers are in the NFC Championship game, so he's pretty fucking excited about that. And we got some UFL news that we're going to be covering. The coaching carousel continues. And the news that happens between the time the show ends on Sunday and tomorrow afternoon. I cover that on Rivet City Red Zone's extension show called Halftime Heat. I record it Tuesday afternoon. It gets dropped Wednesday morning. And it's 15 minutes of a recording. So go check that out. I'm the only one on that. I do a 15-minute video. So, yeah. But with that being said, gentlemen, do you have anything else for the class before we head out tonight?
No, that's about it.
Sean, anything else for the class tonight? Well, as I always say, thank you all for joining us here tonight on the Table Spot. We appreciate anybody who's coming to the chat on the live show or the recording. Thank you for showing the love. Please make sure to check out all the stuff going on in the networks. These two gentlemen's social medias, my social media, show the love and support. We appreciate it. As always, be kind to each other, be good to each other, take care of each other, be patient with each other. Remember, the world isn't moving as fast as you think it is. Until next time, everybody. Deuces.
I don't want to set the world on fire.